How you doing, YouTube? Matt with Belgian Beer Reviews, back with yet another review, and it's some Belgian dark time in the form of Gulden Draak's 10.5. I guess that's what you would call it. It's the Brewmaster's Edition, 3rd edition of their Gulden Draak. Basically, it's their Gulden Draak aged in whiskey barrels, which has me really excited because I'm a big fan of the base beer. Never had this before. I've heard about it. A couple of my friends have had it and said it was really good. And one of those people is my buddy Chucky. You've probably seen him do a bunch of reviews with me. Actually, the first couple of reviews I ever did, he was in. He picked this up and gave this to me for Christmas when he came up here. So that's pretty damn awesome. So thank you very much, Chuck. As far as what it says on this bottle, 3rd Brewmaster's Edition, aged in whiskey barrels, date bottled January 2015. A year to the month. So that's pretty damn awesome. Let's see. Gulden Draak, 10.5% alcohol by volume. Blah, 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 blah. On the back here, our brewmaster, Jeff Versieli, 6th generation brewer, crafted this exclusive Gulden Draak 3rd edition Brewmaster's Edition as a tribute to his grandfather, Zolaf. My dog's knocking stuff over because they do that stuff. Van Steenberge. His deep respect for craft beer culture inspired Jeff Versieli to create this beer. The executive Gulden Draak 3rd edition Brewmasters combines modern brewing technology with traditional craftsmanship. Letting the beer mature in whiskey barrels creates a unique and gentle taste that you'd have never experienced before. Brewed and bottled. Okay, Van Steenberge. Just seeing if they tell you what kind of whiskey barrels they put them in, and they do not. So there you go. Weight-wise, it's really cool. It's got the atypical kind of the whole Van Steenberge line. Kind of has the glass with the kind of stickery cover on it. But design-wise, it's pretty cool. It looks very what's the word I'm looking for? Special occasion-ish kind of thing, like very champagne, if you will. So, yeah, going to grab the freaking wine key like you need a bottle opener. So, let's see what this has to offer. You can never trust these Belgians and their corks. Yeah, wanted to come out. Smell the vinousness on there. Could be just a mixture of the booze and the cork. It's giving that to me. Ooh, gotta tell you right now, infinitely lighter than I thought it would be. Typically, Gulden Draak's like a base Gulden Draak is decently darker than that. 2 fingers, gravity-defying creaminess, pretty uniform bubbles throughout, and that is yeah, kind of like there's little bits of particulate kind of floating around in there. But it's really bright. It's like a liquid honeyish with a dash of red kind of color going on there. Your Gulden Draak typical base is more of a double-ish kind of color, if more quad-ish. So to see it kind of come out in that color is a little bit I don't know, not off-putting, surprising. That's the word. The color's not off-putting. It's just kind of bizarre. So let's get a nose on it. See what we have. Definitely getting like a slight tartness, if not a decent amount of tartness from here. I don't think it's turned. I think they age it in whiskey barrels, maybe some apple forward-based whiskey barrels. Not like an apple brandy though, like super sweet, almost like a bourbon. Like some bourbons are really tart apple forward, kind of like that kind of vibe. You're definitely getting a Belgian yeastiness out of there, nice breadiness in there, combined with it's like that. I don't want, not dark fruit, but more like somewhere a little bit lighter than dark fruit. Like almost like I'm getting the combination of that kind of tartness with the dark fruitiness sort of thing. Kind of reminds me of like a yellow raisin, like a green yellow raisin. Getting a little bit of banana in there. Whiskey-wise, like I said, that might be the apple in there, but I don't know. They don't get a traditional kind of whiskey bourbon-y kind of nose out of it. Again, it could be a whiskey as in like a Scotch whiskey. Could be that also. But I'm not getting any kind of like peat mossiness or super smokiness out of it. yeah, I mean, it smells interesting. Let's put it that way. It smells like a triple. So it definitely doesn't smell like the traditional base. But it smells like it was almost aged in like a Pinot barrel as opposed to actually like a whiskey barrel. So, yeah, I mean, she smells cool. It's just kind of going into it with expectation. You expect a certain thing, but once I saw that color, threw it for a loop. So, expectations are out the door. All we have is already nice lacing, already beautiful legs, and let's see what she's got. Cheers. What we have is danger, okay? Because let's put it this way. This drink's so easy, it's not even funny, and it's almost 11%. That's why I said it's danger. I'm still getting that kind of like appley vibe off it, but it's not nearly as tart as I thought it was going to be. It's sweeter, but not apple brandy. It might be an apple brandy barrel. It might be. I don't know, or a multi-barrel blend. I'm curious to see if I can pin down what this might be. An apple brandy barrel. Even though it says whiskey, you know, who knows. But it's like, or it could be just a super apple forward bourbon kind of whiskey, or some kind of whiskey that I don't know. But yeah, I'm definitely getting that kind of barreling in there and that booziness from the barrel. I'm definitely getting the Belgian spiciness. It could also be a spice thing, a yeast thing where I'm getting an apple from. Maybe they used a more aggressive yeast. I know when you're trying to get a higher ABV, sometimes you can get a bit of that kind of apple flavor in there if you go at it too aggressively. It's not Gulden Draak. It doesn't taste like a barrel-aged version of that, so I'm guessing they blended... Or not blended, they brewed a special batch for the barrels. Definite oak in there. Really nice oak, too. Not negative at all. Drying in the tongue. Yeah, it's weird. It's almost like somewhere between a triple in a saison, like a beefed up saison that was aged, like I said, and like, let's go half bourbon, half apple brandy barrels. That's the vibe I'm getting off of it. It's like, it's sweet kind of apple, really beautiful wood. Yeah, it's very interesting. Let's put it that way. Yeah, it's a good beer. I dig it. I first took a sip. I had to get acclimated to it. I think it was more mental. Being like, going into this expecting one specific beer. We shouldn't do that, but we're humans, you know, and we go into stuff with expectations. But I was expecting a whiskey, traditional whiskey, Americanized bourbon whiskey with your rich cherries and your kind of like almost sometimes even maple syrup level sweetness, and your typical like Gulden Draak that's darker and richer and more of a double quadish type thing, and what I got was a triple with a bright, fruity kind of whiskey going on. So after I got acclimated to it, it's pretty fucking cool. Yeah, I dig it. The more I drink it, the more I dig it. All right, so let's talk about it. Is it one of the better beers I've had as of late? No. If I keep drinking it, once the camera's off, if you ask me maybe an hour from now when I'm really deep into it, I might go yes. Who knows? Is it one of the better barrel-aged Belgian beers I've had as of late? Yeah. Yeah, actually. Because you don't see those too often. Usually a lot of times when Belgian breweries... they tend to barrel age stuff. They tend to come off a little bit weaker, you know. And this one is pretty impactful, so I'm kind of digging it. Not to the point where it's overpowering or out of balance, but it's just I like a little bit more barrel in my Belgians. Even though I really loved it, the barrel was subtle, but it added an extra dimension. Was the St. Bernard's Ab 12 Ab Brandy barrel is really nice, but the La Trappe de Koningshoven, they got their barrel aging program down, but this is pretty freaking cool. When I buy it again, I didn't buy it, it was gifted to me, but I know it's pretty freaking expensive because their beers in general are pretty freaking expensive, so it'd be a tough one. I'd have to be going to like almost like a party where people don't usually drink beer, but I want to bring something interesting that looks fancy. You know what I mean? That's kind of the reason why I'd buy this again, just because of the looks accompanied by. I think this might appeal a little bit more to wine people, bridging the gap with that subtle tartness and that fruitiness and availability. I've actually never seen this in my area. My buddy Chucky travels quite a bit, but he's also down from Philly, so he might have access to it. So let's just say this: if you like what we like, this. If you like St. Bernardus Apple Brandy Barrel, if you like Calvados cast stuff, when you're getting that kind of apple brandy barrel in there, or if you like Apple Ford, I don't know which one bourbon it is. I could be totally wrong. It might be Heaven Hill. That might be the one. I forget though. But if you like Apple Ford bourbon style whiskeys as your barrel of choice, then you definitely dig this one because you're getting. But don't go into it expecting the base Gulden Draak. Expect more of a triple-ish kind of vibe to the beer, and give it some time to work its way in, because like I said, from first sip to what I'm getting now, it's growing on me quite quickly. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. If you did or you didn't, or somewhere in between, please leave a comment in the comment section below. And like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. If you want to check us out anywhere else on the internet, you can. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Untapped, Massive Beers, and all 4 of those places. And yeah, another review down. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully you're enjoying a nice whiskey barrel-aged Belgian-ish beer. And hopefully see you next time. Cheers.